Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Excellent jam, Suwaib.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do de. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
Bisul mu fine.
What?
Bisul mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Axina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave. Bisul mu fine? Wave. Your money is yours.
You're with West Coast Radio, Coffee Time with Peter Gomez on 92.1, also online. But staying with law and crime, yesterday the police sent this press release to all media houses. The Gambia Police Force has secured a conviction against one of the youths arrested for dangerous driving, commonly referred to as drifting or joyriding, around the Kanifing community on June the 11th. He was convicted by the magistrate's court on 2 counts. Count 1, convicted and fined $5,000. Count 2, convicted and fined $25,000. Failure to pay will result in a prison term of anywhere between 3 and 5 years. That's a lot just for drifting. Well, let's talk about the practice now with 3 very knowledgeable people in this. I'll start the introduction by going straight down the middle. Please introduce yourself to us.
Good morning, Uncle Peter, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and good morning, all listeners. My name is Omar Biay, and I'm here to talk about everything that entails about drifting and enlighten you guys about everything about it.
We need to be enlightened. To my left, please introduce yourself.
Good morning, Uncle Peter, and thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Abdul Hafiz Othman. I have been selected by these young, wonderful fellows as their Secretary General.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes, and as he rightly said, we're here to enlighten people and educate and try to, give them the benefit of the doubt, because there's been a lot of, speculations and more concerns about these driftings and stunts going on around town. So we're here to enlighten, educate, and share our thoughts with people.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And last, but not least.
Okay, good morning. Assalamu alaikum.
Feel free, you can speak in Wolof.
Musa Dahaba, commonly known as Elda. Gamdarkosi, everybody Elda lañ ma xamé, but Musa Dahaba is the real name. Okay, dañ fi ñëwoon tay rek pour xamal waa dëkk bi everybody, each and every Gambian, because gis nañ ne accidents yi bari na, and mainly delkos yi mooy drifters yi, they are always to be blamed. So dañ ñëw fi pour sensitize the nation, xamal nañu si luñ nekk, because we've already formed an association. Okay, so we are on a serious process right now. Okay, pour jéem a xool nu ñoo stopé accident rates yi wàññi ko, suñ ko mënta stop 100% suñ wàññi ko daal loolu moo ñu tax a jóg daal.
ok drifters ci olof naka nga ñu ko mën a tënkalee?
ok, Gambia fii ñun delkos yi lañ dee wax. soo ne delkos yi mboolem ku nekk si game bi wala ku fa nekkut sax xam na ne ñoom ñooy drifters yi, that's the title. but delko bi dafa jógee from ñun suñ groupe bi, suñ club bi, which is Delco Force. xëj na ñu bari duñ xam, but dafa yaaga game bi dem na for more than a decade.
Really?
Yeah, dafa yaaga du teye sax, because ñun tam dañu ñëw ñu fekk ko fe, and ñun yaaga nañ si depuis ñun tam ñu ngi dem school.
waaw ku xamul Delco si lim doon, Delco si ana lum doon?
ok, Delco si mooy ñu dee stunt moto, drifting in English. ok,
lu ñoo def moto bi?
mooy stunt bi mooy drifting, they spin cars. We all know drifting is a motor sport. international motorsport. So drifting xëj na ñu bëri xamuñ ko soo gisee fii sax mu dee gën a nekk lu dangereux si buti nit ñi xamuñ ko and dafa nekk loo xamante ne dafa it's too risky. It has a high rate of riskiness but soo gisee soo ko xoolee bi xool each and every sport boo gis tamit am na that percentage of riskiness. So waaye dafa nekk ne rek xëj na it's a motorsport and dafa include moto and ñëpp xam nañ riskiness bu nekk si affaire yi moto so waaye da nga gis ne dafa war naa mën a tegu si yoon te si yoon bu mu war a mën a tegu mooy ne because it has lot of beneficiaries other countries like South Africa Mozambique ñëpp ñu ngi koo def but in a legal way. So the difference bi moo nekk Gambian bi youth yi am nañ talent bi but they are doing it in an illegal way. loolu moo nekk problème bi time bi.
ok ok nga ne moto bokk na ci waaye léegi moto bi nooy jëflanteeg moom. Yes, I'm trying to
I think I can answer that more in Wolof.
Wow.
So lu ma jëm a explain mooy drifting si Wolof loolu la gars yi di ooyee botiner.
ok
So botiner in the sense ne tey am nga sa moto moto bi tubaab bi def nañ ko ba mu correct but then xale yii nii because they are so much into cars dañ ko modify try
dañ ko
wécci change ko daal def ko in a way boo xam ne sax ñu defar moto yi sax defaruñ ko noonu so because ñoom dañ like moto too much so su gay change loolu I mean they enjoy the passion of just creating stuff xam nga dafa mel ni football tey xam nga tey doo dem si field bi nga téye football bi di ko tubal di lifin waaye comme moto bi dañ ko defar pour dawal but then ñoom in their own ways they can create so many things it's just lu nit yi lu xale yi bugga la daal it's a passion
pour def lan moto bi gën a daw wala
déedéet pour moto bi create scenes like xam nga stunt botiner drift xam nga create am na ñoo xam ne sax dañ lay jël moto bi like binda numbers and letters si tali bi create that xam nga rek waaw so dafa bëri daal wow.
Okay. All right. Let's go down the middle. Okay. So why are you trying to mainstream drifting? In our traffic culture, if you like.
Okay. The main importance is one. The main importance we are backing our campaign on is to reduce the accidents on the streets, because recently everybody is aware of the case that's been online and.
Is it the same one that I just read the press release about?
That you just read about? And there are so much facts involved in the case. It shouldn't be done outside, strictly condemned. Even though it has to have a podium where people could go and do it safely.
So there should be a designated area for drifting.
There should be a designated area for drifting. We've seen other countries like South Africa. They have arenas, pavilions, like parks, where people could go to and watch car shows. And Gambia is developing. We are moving. And we are going to a stage where we need to join the international scene. You have one of the best drivers here, but they don't have the platform to show themselves.
So I'm talking to some of the best drivers in the whole country.
Right now you're talking to one of the best drivers in the world. Okay. But with no platform.
Is that yourself? Have you been drifting? And when did you start drifting?
Actually, drifting is something that all of us condemn from the start. It's not safe. It's a car. From Gambian culture, we are all born in Gambia. Our culture, we don't have engines. Even bicycles are closest to us. But we don't have car engines. But going to school in Gambia, you have different cultures, different backgrounds. And we are happy that we had to go through that. But in different ways, we came along people who were drifters. Among the school, you could have 1 or 2 drifters. In every school, you'll just have 1 or 2. Some might have more, but 1 or 2, that's how it starts. Okay, one day Uncle Peter will come to school with a car.
I was never that blessed. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, but somewhere, yes, just giving an example.
Yes, absolutely, I understand, sorry.
So, Uncle Peter comes to school. After school, all the students are outside the gate, and Uncle Peter enters his car. Instead of just driving off, he starts doing donuts, 360s, and spins. Everybody is amused. Everybody is shouting.
Okay.
So that's how it comes into passion.
So every stunt has a name, donuts.
So every stunt has a name, like football, you would say.
Every move has a name.
Every move has a name.
Yeah, true.
So we are here to enlighten the Gambian on these benefits that this sport.
Benefits.
Benefits.
Ah, interesting.
It's not just the fun
Not-
part.
not
and,
threats.
And not just threats. Benefits. Because we are going to captivate even the tourism sector. That's how big this sport is. It's our passion, but it's already in place where you could have
Okay,
tourists.
before we come to how
Okay.
to harness the potential of drifting
Okay.
to drive our tourism numbers
Yeah.
and maybe,
Yeah.
thrill more sport-loving people.
People, yeah.
Where is, drifting practice now to the point where police have to clamp down on drifters? Apart from, the entrances to schools or schoolyards or whatever.
Okay, for example, our main goal as an association is to look for a place.
No, that's your goal. I'm saying right now.
Right now.
Where is drifting taking place?
Right now, drifting is taking place actually anywhere in the streets. Seemed convenient for any young driver, regardless that it is illegal.
Okay, so what are the conditions conducive? Where can somebody drift? What must
Okay.
be in place?
Okay.
I suppose if you go to London Corner, you cannot drift.
Nah.
Because-
There are procedures. Okay, you have swamps right now.
Swamps.
Swamps.
Or you can drift in swampy
You can
areas.
drift in a swampy area,
Ah,
but in an
interesting.
organized way. There are a whole lot of places where you could drift, but it has to be secured. It's never been organized by a group. This ton I'm talking about. This ton we are here to put here. It's never been organized by an individual or an association. It's always been organized because there is a program happening in the Gambia.
Okay.
Either
Even Independence Day.
Yeah,
Either
it's celebrated
any
even on
celebration.
Independence Day.
any celebration, Tobaski, Christmas, New Year's, pass out, sign out.
It's
But
Yeah.
when you
Even
bring
inter-houses.
but when you bring places like a controlled environment, you have all these ceremonies and all these events. People could go to a safe spot instead of endangering lives in the streets. So that's our main goal. We want to make sure the safety part is being understood by each and every Gambian, because it's a highly dangerous sport.
Okay.
And we highly advise, like I use this podium today to beg each and every young Gambian who is legally stunting in the streets, coming from somebody in your shoes. Please, if you could abstain now, there is a process, a legal one,
To mainstream drifting.
to mainstream drifting to the international wall.
Ah, okay. But the key message from this conversation is drifting does not necessarily only take place on a smooth paved road. You can drift in marshy areas, as you people just said.
Yeah, it can be anywhere. Sandy areas, thar areas, like anywhere. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what process is on to mainstream drifting?
Okay, that I will leave
With Go ahead.
to my main coordinator.
Yeah, sure. And feel free to speak Wolof. You can always say it in English and
Yeah.
someone else.
I will be comfortable speaking Wolof.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So gisee right now dañ nekk si process boo xam ne mun naa wax ne yàgg nañ koo start sax but amuñ woon that support amuñ woon ku ñu jox noppa mooy woon problème bi because
Noppi kan ngeen bëggoon police bi wala lan?
noppi kuñ mënoon a munti am waaye but mainly from the police or the government
Okay.
because dafa nekk loo xam ne ñun bu ñoo door di jóg si project bi it was back in since 2021 and 2022 but amuñ woon ku ñoo déglu because ñun digala nu mu meloon si dëkk bi dafa risky ba pare accident rates yi dañ bari woon ñëpp a mere woon xale yu Houston now use the name Delcos ñëpp a dëkk bi ñëpp a leen mere and man suma ko sax personnellement sax dama demoon because I was part of it but dama toog ma relax ma jaay suma moto bi but still maa ngi follow because man elda la fa gaay xamee man ñoom ñëpp dañ ma jàppee comme seen elda because yaaga naa si time bi ku si munti nekk tam mala si gën a yaaga man ak moom mi nga gis ni ñuñ ko doolandoor yëpp dañ relax bàyyi but ñun dañ si focus ñu woon ñu xam ne lii mun nañ see jàppale xale yi ñu am si instead of ñu see ñaaka ba pare di put other lives in danger so loolu moo taxoon ñu jóg but buñ jógee soo gisee processus mu yaaga comme la wala amuñ woon ku ñu jox noppa but kutur katar neen dugga neen fu nekka but xam nga after lu ñu si dee jëlee mooy foo dem dugga toog doo dem tiim mag bu toog nga ñëw toog ne ko dama bugg a ñëw ñu waxtaan si affaire Houston ak nit ñi nuñ nekk di gis Houston si biir dëkk bi kenn du la dee déglu but yàlla daf ñu jàppale tamit à still comme ñu ngi bañ a give up ñu move on with it ba yàlla jàppale ñu nu mu bon foo am 100 nit ñu la bañ a déglu kenn na la mën a déglu si 100 out of 100 boobu noonu so am nañ benn ñaar ñuy mën a déglu ñu mën a waxtaanal ba tey ñu mbooloo jàppa si ñu ngi ko puus mi ngee dem understand nga form association we've already formed the association and we are going through the right procedures jot nañoo am meeting ak minister of youth and sport explain nañ ko luñ bugga
register ngeen association bi
we are on that process
okay
ñu ngi si process boobu pour register ko but da ngaa gis ne ku ñu pare pour jox noppare suñ la explain na lee rek di nga understand time bi foofu lañ toll the main reason lu gën a tax ñu ñëw fii nii pour Gambian bi ñu xam ne am na ñu nekk si gannaaw because ñun ñu bëri xamuñ even the police am na si ñoo xamante ne ñu ngi fa xamuñ ne sax am na ñu nekk si ron pour jéem a regulate things and it comes with lot of beneficiaries it can even be a hub for West African drifters yeah because dafa nekk loo xam ne sport bi I wish comme
yaa ngeen ne sport kon pola comme ni football doonee po
it's a
ni
sport.
basketball nekkee po
It's an international sport right now su ma la mun naa la nimal di ka yu si nekk even Sénégal nekkuñ di si def comme Sénégal ñu ngi see bénéfice te sénégalais gars yi xam nañ lu ma wax sénégalais daaxuñ ñu motorsport drifting daaxuñ ñu ko luñ fi am si ay drifter ba pare xam nga Gambia dafa nekk dëkk boo xam ne soo demee yeneen dëkk yëpp ñu faa drift yëpp daf di mën a nekk ay mag soo demee ba South Africa Eddie Rasta mu ngi am like close to 60 years and mu ngi drift still now waaye yeneen dëkk yooyu dem yëpp ay mag nga faa fekka Gambia moo nekk di only dëkk boo xam ne da ngaa gis xale bu am 14 years
mu ngi drift
dafa drift and when well handled comme nit ñi biluñ si interest ba pare riskiness bi moo tax so ñun ñoo bëgg a moo tax ñu organise association bi pour xool nu ñoo demee through the right channel through the right procedures ñu am luñ bëgg a ñu create ko nit ñi ñëw toog ñu seetaan ko everybody will feel safe ku nekk nga toog nga seetaan nga xam lu si nekk
ndegem nangu nañ ne booree dóor pola ñaari mag yuy dóorante kurpeñ soluñ dara ndegem nangu nañ ne boobu pola foog naa drifting tam there's a possibility moom itam moom it mu jàlla inshallah so tell us about these steps you are taking to mainstream drifting in the Gambia.
We cannot go into too much details because it's just like a newly started organization.
Yeah.
And we're in the process, we're on the verge. But all I want to emphasize is that our primary goal is safety. So we want to work with the law enforcement, the police, and even the government in trying to create this safe and secure place. And like he rightly said, we want to make this as legal as possible. This is a sport, but right now in Gambia, it's termed illegal. Mm-hmm. So to take it to this legal state, we need to work with organizations. We need to work with the police. We need to work with the fire service. We need to work with medical teams. Because it's a dangerous sport, like he said. So everything is in place. Right now, we are working on something very fantastic, something very good, and we have seen the light at the end of the tunnel. So it's just registering and coming out and educating people so they can know. Yes.
You describe, this group as containing some of the best drivers in the country. How much of stunting, drifting, is about adrenaline drive? When you're behind that wheel, what goes on in your mind? What goes on in your entire body?
I think for someone that watches these things on YouTube and TikTok,
you only watch it. You don't take part.
I don't take part. So I'm speaking from a fan.
Yeah.
From a fan perspective.
From a spectator point of view.
Exactly. So it's more like they're showing off, and it's like seeing Messi with a football.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know that adrenaline.
Every sport has, its own show-offs.
Exactly. And then everyone wants to see the end point, because imagine someone doing 360 like for 4 minutes, and you just want to know how will this end. And then the car comes to a still, and the driver is safe, the car is safe, nothing. That rush. So it's that joy. It's you just have to see it to believe it. Yes.
He only looks at it. He only engages as a spectator.
That's from a viewer's point.
Yes, exactly.
So all listeners now know what they're feeling. We also know. But now coming from a drifter's point.
Yes.
This feeling is really wonderful. I have, like a person, I feel a whole lot of feelings, joy, but I'm that type of person. To be honest, I've abstained. It was difficult, but I came to a point where I could abstain from stunting because I matured. But between 2013 to 2018, 2019, before I started slowing down, I would drift anywhere, but in a safe space, because I always calculated the risks, tried not to endanger anybody else. So I chose specific places where I could do my drift and a video would be taken. But whilst doing these stunts, every stress and every burden that I feel becomes
a thing of the past.
Becomes music.
Really?
For that 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Because it's a moment where you are pressing the clutch, you are accelerating, you are turning the steering wheel, you are calculating where to end the drift and where to start, how to entertain Hafiz, Uncle Peter, and every spectator. That's what's going in your mind. It's like dancing. You make moves. Excuse me. And a real drifter standing could see each and every move, signature move that you're making. Like you have the donuts, like you have the 360. And in a closed environment like the international scene, they have kitchens.
Kitchens.
Let it cook.
Let it cook.
Yeah. And you have to let it cook.
Let what cook? The tires?
Let the tires cook. Let the tires smoke.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's a sport with
lot of
joy and different mixed feelings.
And a lot of sophistication, apparently.
And a lot of sophistications. That's why most drivers need to be trained, need to be sensitized, like Hafiz is telling you, on safety terms. Because before even entering a car, you have to know all these safety measures. Because now you are not just driving from Bakote to Manja, no. You are having to entertain people, and you're gonna do things that will overjoy you. So with that overjoy, you have to always think about the safety part, because you're gonna overplay your part.
Jar Oil, the company, have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Excellent jam, Suway.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do dede. Luta mënuloo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello? Kan lay waxal?
Bisul mu fay.
What?
Bisul mu fine.
Yes!
Wave Axina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave. Bisul mu fine? Wave. Your money is yours.
I'll ask you to, take us with you into the cockpit. You call that the cockpit, right?
Yeah.
Earlier on, he spoke about, changes that have to be made to this brand new car just imported from Japan or China or America or wherever. You know, what do you change about the car? What are some of the basic changes that need to be made on the car?
Okay, that question would be left to Boy,
Okay.
Musa.
Yeah. Well, I'll call you Elder.
Elder.
They call you Elder.
Yeah, no
All right.
problem.
Okay.
I feel happy if you will call me elder.
Yes, Elder.
Even though you're my elder. but you
Yeah,
call me
absolutely.
elder.
Yeah. But for this program, you're the Elder.
Yeah. Okay. Da nga gis ne soo gisee man may gën a wax olof sax bëgg naa tam because mag yu
ah kay waaw li ma ko laaj mooy ñu ne soo leen amee moto bi dafa am yoo leen ay wécci yoo leen ci dee def waaw lan ak lan moo war a wécceeku bala ngaa mun a drift
waaw ok let's say gis nga affaire drift bi dafa tax xale yu bari dañ mujjee dem nekk ay mécaniques am nañ si ay mécaniques suñ biir am nañ si comme dafa nekk loo xam ne branches yu mu am moo bari waaw mun ngaa dem nekk mécanique mun ngaa nekk drift mun ngaa nekk leneen yëpp same lifin bi la nekk so bari na xale yoo xam ne dañ mujjee dem ñeneen ñi seen boppam ñu ngi drift like comme man su ma dee oyee suma doom suma taw bu góor katra king katra ok moom man maa ko raise maa ko xam nga rek teg si yoon xamal ko won ko after man bu ma relaxé nag moom personnally moo ma doon represent laa mun a wax sax at the end of the day moom tam mu form another gang boo xam ne own clubam la ok ma leen a jàppale di leen xam nga rek teg si yoon bot man bàyyoon naa bot xam nga rek still maa ngi doon follow up so moom someone like him moom dafa mujjee nekk mécanique rakaam yëpp dañ mujjee dem nekk mécanique and I know so many people ñoo xam ne ñu ngi si game bi dañ mujjee dem nekk ay mécanique so they learn about drifting a lot dañ dee jàngal lu bari si lifin bi si affaire yi drifting bi so dañ dee dugga si internet bi nga gis nga jànga nga ok gis ne ok yow foog nga block actually moto bi pour moto bi mun laa may that 360 bu gaata in any angle boo munti nekk mun ngaa lem
moto bi lu es foog nga laal axle bi
non
so axle
non not nu am na daf di mën a ñëw mu ees
waaw mu ngi ñëw
axle bi loolu lu ees la sax luñ door di def recently la sax xam nga ak yeneen yu si nekk because dangaa nit tam pour upgrade sa moto bi doole bu mu nekka su ñëwee mu amul doole nit nga pour upgrade ko mu am like su nekkoon exemple 5 horsepower bëgg nga mu dem to 8 or 7 so da nga nit pour upgrade ko da nga nit pour moto bi dafa need a lot of things loo si war a def nit nga pour def lu bëri comme Gambia soo gisee ma ne la ñun fii suñ gars dañ talented because moto yu ñu fay drifté du moto pour drift dëgga su ko Gambian bi téye billaahi walaay talaay waxuma la waxi caaxaan de xale yi fii suñ téye moto pour drift dëgga international ngeen ñu dëgga
nga ne ma
international trust me because da ngaa gis ko am moto bam recondition daf ko da ñëw jënd si kaapaak rek mu ñëw rek mu door drift te daf koo uyu moto bi dafa drift laalut si dara but after ñoom ñëpp a dem ba xam ne ok foog ma door di def lii ñii di yóbbu si garage ñii di nii so at the end of the day da ngaa gis ne bénéficiaires yu mu am moo bari fiita bi dina si bénéfice jaaykati spare part bi dina si bénéfice understand nga après xale yi ñëpp ngi dem nekk fiita ku nekk ñun lu ñoo plan nii si biir driftekaay bi dafa am garage dafa am everything xale yi ku nekk di nga si mën a liggéey kenn du si lose instead of losing everybody ñu génn because am na si ñoo xamante ne tey seen waajur yi sax because people lu ñu dee gën a wax seen waajur yaa leen dee encourage non am na si ñoo xamante ne tey lu bari wàññeeku na seen diggante ak seen waajur yi because of lii am na si ñoo xamante moto kër sax duñ ko dawalati yaay yu bëri ñu ngi maa déglu papa yu bëri ñu ngi maa déglu moo tax su ma gisee gars yi pause man xaw ma keneen de but man as an elder dama toog ma xalaat ma xam ne ok dama war a jël that responsibility as an elder mun warut a nekk ak tur rek understand nga so because xale yu bëri time bii nii ma ne la moto sax man xam ma si ñu bëri ñoo xamante seen moto kër yi duñ ko dawal seen yaay dañ leen ko aaye lu bëri dañ ko wàññi si gars yi xam nga yëpp because of sport bii nii but
te terewut ñu ngi ci téye ba tey
terewut ñu ngi si téye ba passion la ba pare xam nga la luy problème doo ko mën a bàyyi gis nga lii suñ ko demee ba legalize ko time bi ba mu war a tegu ñu ko doon def
saay bàyyi na di
non du bàyyi de da nga dee relax doo mën a bàyyi xam naa lu ma la wax man nu ma mer su ma duggee si moto su ma duggee si moto ma taal ma spin benn ñaar ñetta instant relief laa dee am instant relief comme pour woon la jooy bu sedd ñaanal ndox bu sedda yaa ngi understand
so addiction la
ñu
more of a
ñi nga
passion.
xamante ne ni bàyyi ko like 10 years back sax suñ ko indiwaatoon tey dañoo ñëw register pour drift people bi ñi nga xamante ne dañ ko yàggaa bàyyi sa style bu ko sam nga la ñeneen dañ na bëri mag ñi takka leen jabar man demoon naa ba takka jabar sa bot style maa ngi si woon damaa jël suma jabar teg ko front seat ma yóbbu ko ba si beach side bi
ñeme na
yaa dafa doo suñu àggee dafa waaca ma tegal ko tugg mu toog comme dafa nekkoon loo xam ne waaye xam nga nu meloon bi foofu ak nu mel léegi du benn because ñun before sax duñ ko daan def si street si kaw tali bi.
waaw léegi nag dafa yokku ba nga xam ne léegi
ñun dañ daan dem si bit side bi in Bakaw ñëpp gather together après sooy drift kenn du dugg si biir.
waaw but that was a sport.
waaw so
noonu la war a demee.
waaw.
I'm trying to get to hear about the changes that must be made to the machine or other parts of the car in order to be able to drift.
Like, for example, like he said, one elder said, like most cars are bought from the car parks and they are not modified, they are just built road legal. So you have most of these drifting cars are not road legal. For example, to give you an example, in South Africa, these main stunners, before going to an event, they have their personal cars and have their stunt cars.
So they can use their personal cars on the streets of South Africa, on the roads of South Africa.
Being legal.
But they can't use their stunt cars.
But they can't use their stunt cars until and unless they have a permit to go and perform. Like they have places. So until and unless they're going to perform to places, they have these mini tow trucks. They will tow the stunt car, take it to the spot. Then you have a whole environment. You could have a drag race. You could have a... So we are building this podium to make sure everybody knows what this sport entails. It's not a cheap sport too.
No.
These are the questions you're asking in a sort, because these modifications we are talking about, you're talking about buying turbos. You're talking about buying special tires.
Intercooler radiators.
And just these tires, intercooler radiators, to make sure the car doesn't overheat, because you're drifting for 3, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, constant. Your foot might be on the brake and the acceleration at the same time. So it's gonna help the car. So these modifications are modifications to even the shocks absorbers. The shocks you have to change. The chairs you have to remove to make the car lighter. So these are the modifications you make, and there are a whole lot of young mechanics who became mechanics because of this stunting, because of this drifting, because of their car passion. But now they are mechanics because of this passion, but still
so new job opportunities there.
So new job opportunities.
So many job opportunities.
So many job opportunities. You have the mechanics who could just service cars, but you also have mechanics who could modify your car into that special car. Okay, now parents that don't want their young ones or their children using their private cars at home, you could just buy them a car, take them to a program, make sure they go through the right channel, buy the proper car, and all the necessary stuffs that are needed would be done. It's not an easy thing. It's an expensive sport. So that's why we are doing this. We are bringing this platform so that generally in Gambia, every young Gambian could have the chance to partake in this, because it would go to a point where sponsorship deals would come.
Fantastic. We look forward to that. Now, take us with you, into the cockpit, and what happens before the car starts spinning. What it takes to spin the car, whether you're doing donuts or 360 or kitchen. What other terminologies are there?
There are different moves. One, you have the S, the letter S, the letter S, which is the most famous in Gambia.
Oh, okay. That's the one that everybody tries to do.
That's what everybody tries to do.
Okay.
You have the 720. You have the rollback. After doing the 720,
720.
Uncle,
the 360.
Uncle Peter, you're getting the picture.
That's wow, look at that.
Uncle Hafiz just told you that we try to write letters and numbers with the cars. And it becomes a dream. Every day you'll be sitting, after stunting, you'll be imagining all the moves for the next stunt that you're going to do. It's like football. It's like any other sport. You prepare.
And create.
You train. You create. And you deliver. So with all these procedures taken, trust me, like he said, Gambia has one of the best motor drivers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Even though our accident rate is high, but we have one of the best drivers in this country.
But they cannot be seen.
What's the accident ratio for for drifting?
The accident ratio per se, before you have the ratio was down because you have stunt being organized in fields and swamps, like I told you. At school doors, it's just a little show off that happens. Then,
but there has never been a fatality at school gates.
There has been.
There has been on some occasions.
Okay.
Some occasions, different occasions, but the ones, the accidents would be looked at, but the ones that have been performed safely, won't be looked at.
I understand. I mean, when you play football and somebody gets a broken collar, and
to give you the percentage, right now in Gambia, out of 10 drifters, just 3 would have an accident.
Yeah.
All 7 would make sure they are
30% is high.
Yeah.
30% is high.
30% is still high.
Yeah.
But 70% would make sure they go home with their cars straight. But that 30%, now we are trying to make sure that 30% don't endanger lives. Because it's not just the 30% they're endangering the society. Because, today I could be doing a stunt in the street and enter a shop. I'm not just vandalizing my car, but I'm vandalizing somebody's shop. But if it is contained, all of these would now be
a thing of the past.
The only vandalism that can happen is you hitting your car to a tire that is being placed to a wall.
Part of protection.
Part of protection. Just to be clear.
Okay. So, I mean, have you earmarked a place for, this sport? I mean, if you were to get clearance and, the state says, okay, where do you want to have this?
Yes.
I mean, what place do you have in mind? Do you have any?
We have places in mind.
Places are not just one?
Yes.
Okay.
So, and that one we will...
Am I right in thinking the stadium would be one place?
No. not yes,
yeah,
but
maybe in the future.
Okay.
Yes, but as I said, I mean, we have plans, we have places, and these things will be dwelled on in another episode.
It's too early.
It's too early. Yes.
Is that because you're still in the process of legally registering?
Exactly.
The organization.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
So you've got a constitution and all of that, because they would ask for a charter.
Yeah, we already
at the Attorney General's chambers where you have to register this.
Yes.
And I mean, you've decided to form an association because you feel that there's need for it. I mean, the demand for drifting is growing in this country, to the point that children are even taking the risk knowing that the police will come after them, but they still go ahead and drift.
Exactly.
And what message might you have for the young children who are engaged in this quote unquote illegal practice?
I mean, I would just like to tell them to be patient. I mean, we are on the right track, and time will tell. Time will tell, but they have to be very patient. I mean, we have to work. We have to go according to the rules of law of this country. So if everything comes into place, like I said, our primary goal is safety. So all these things that we are going through right now, all this chobi will calm down, and people will get to see and understand. Ndeke xale yi lii la gars yi doon bëgg a def. Okay, ndeke lii la ak lele la. But right now, I'm advising each and every young driver to be patient, to follow the rule of law, and not to go overboard. Yes.
I'll end with you. Let me just come to Elder. ñu ngi ñëw nag jeexal waxtaan wi. Ban dénku nga am pour ñi nga xam ne ñooy déglu saaka xale yu ndaw yi nga xam ne ëppa doole ci ñoom ñu ngi dem school waaye ba tey ñu ngi drift. Parce que ni nga ko waxee affaire gi daal moom soo ko xasee mos rek. daf la dee tóondi ci nga dëkk rek daf dee jafe pour nga bàyyi ko.
ok dama dooree sax fi nga wax ni xale yi especially xale yi nga xam ne ñu ngay dem school. because dama di mën a toog suma page bi ma pose pour jox everybody chance pour ñu ask ma a question. So am na ku ma mos a laaj that question like ok ana lii su dooree ñun xale yu dem school dañoo bàyyi school ma ne ko déedéet because soo xoolee school before lii. school before this drifting ñun loolu lañ put first so waaye bëgg nañ tam mun ngaa nekk di dem school at the same time nga ñëw di am sa training routines soo wàccee school su fekkee bëgg ngaa nekk drifter because dañoo jël dañoo mën a nekk dañoo am practices and dañoo mën a register xale yoo xamante ne dañoo ñu leen a jël
waaw ñu leeral rek ne ci yeneen réew yi am na ñoo xam ne lii mooy seen liggéey seen am yëpp ci lii
liggéey la sax te sax am xëj na si understand nga so man lu ma wax rek mooy xale yi képp ko si ki nga xamante ne bëgg nga ko not even the drifters but even the fans na ñëpp try ku nekk nga keep the patience comme every day nu ma ko di remain gars sama page bi rek because dafa am si process bu ñu nekk waaye xam nga soo gisee process dafa nekkoon loo xamante ne nii ñu bëri xamuñ ko understand nga even xale yi ñu bëri sax mun naa na xit na xamuñ but xam naa time bi dina nekk time boobu ñëpp neen understand but nañ gën a keep the patience we are working out for the youth and we will make it possible insha allah because time bi ñun dañ nekk di bàyyi lu ñoo def yëpp suñu liggéey sax dañ ko bàyyi foo ko sëllee so ñoom ñoo ñu war a gën a mun a jàppale ñoom xale yi nga xam ne ñoo ñu stop ñu put an end to this because right now ñun ñu ngi si loo xamante ne nii nekkut ne comme dañ leen a keep for so long bañ am arena bi li fi non after dañoo am a place fu nga xam ne dañ ko mën a defaral gars yi with the help of the police ba pare dañoo ñi ngi ooj every Gambian comme ñun lii nekkuñ di si dem ñun de dañ soxla ku nekkat ndimbalam from the police from the civil society ñun ñëpp a war a mën a jàppale pour lii mu dem and su demee ba taxaw ñun ñoo si war a mën a jàppale pour safety precautions ñu gën ko especially with the police with the law enforcement understand nga so lay time bi man advice ma am pour xale yi ñëpp nañ try ñu stay calm
waaye su demee ba taxaw xam nga dafa mel ni ki football rek football amoon na jamono bi mutu bariwut Gambia Banjul dañ daan mun a football ci kaw tali yi
waaw
waaye booba mutu bariwut waaye ba mutu demee ba bari kenn dofatut léegi ne yaa ngi egg OIC highway di fa play football mun nga faa play football daf laa leer ne balaa maa egg sax ku dem muti romba balaa maa li la waat xam nga understand nga xëy na lii problème soo gisee xale yi di ko def ci kaw yoon yi fii moto yi ak nit ñi di jaar mooy amaguñ béréb yuñ ko mën a defee waaye su fekkee ne seen kuréel bi dem na ba taxaw bañ jox leen foo leen mën a play comme bañ na am stadium foo mën a play football you know at municipal level ñu am places su boobaa xëy na problème yi police bi sax du fa nekka
non du fa nekka
waaw police bi daf ci dugal léegi parce que understand nga nit ñi mun nañ cee loru waaw yow yaa ngi daaxee sa bugga sa bànnee
te dañ si war a dugga sax because ñun lu ñoo foom ni soo gisee mën a with the help of the police ñun lu ñoo foom ni time bi ñun dañoo liggéey ak law enforcement xam nga na understand fu ma waxee de waaw so suñu si li ñoo liggéey ak gars yi mooy ñun liggéey bi dañ koo door depuis léegi sax because suñu demee ba toog ba waxtaan ak gars yi bañ am lu ñu leer bañ register bañ def li ñu naa gars yi la te end of the day ñun dañoo play part boo xam ne xale bi nga xamante ne dem nañ ba ok xale yëpp dañ nekk di kaas ne lii seen passion la lii leen bugga ñun ok suñu waree dem ba fayet ba mu nekka ba ñu tegal leen seen passion seen xefi boti yi léegi yéen a ngi koo lifin keneen ku dem nga defee ko si biti ñun mun nañoo gis da responsabilité
loo ci góobee gar ko
nekkul loo ci góobee gar ko ñun ñoo jël da responsabilité because ñun personnel yi ñu comme la ñun xale benn xale coogut ñu suñuy dërëf si biir dëkk bi foo mun ti dugal suñ la bëggee loxati dañ la loxati soo suñu demee ba tegal leen li ngeen bëgg seen xefi boti yi keneen ku ko defee si biti ñun ñooy jël da responsabilité ñun ñoo laa génnee ñu hand over to the police or ñu call ñu seet naka la ñoo li fi ne police bi jël def waru galam
jërëjëf Elda just to end so if you succeed finally in getting registered and whatever and you have your designated areas in short you know what's your message to parents to young people especially those who are involved in this unapproved drifting at the moment
just to tell them is support your children. If your son or daughter wants or loves this sport, don't condemn them. Even though we have other parents that have come out and showed their support.
Because they have the understanding.
Because they have the understanding, but the percentage of people who don't understand is more. Yeah. So with this message, we are trying to sensitize people. Like, okay, we are having shows. Comme Olof Ndiaye num ko dewe he kay nga hol sa bot sula doye nga topa si sa domi because your children what they want is not bad. It's a sport and it's been done internationally. Okay, to give you an example, one day I was watching a Netflix series. It's about a motorsport drifting competition in America. And this young female from South Africa had acceptance to go and join the tournament. She was given invitation, but she couldn't go. You know why?
No.
Because the fees were expensive. But you know, I just told you that these cars are towed on tow trucks to take them to the stone grounds. Her dad actually sold his tow truck to pay for the daughter's car to be shipped to the United States.
Oh, wow.
Just so that she could perform in the tournament. And she performed, and she didn't, even though she didn't win, but the dad was still happy that her daughter had accomplished her dream.
Fantastic.
So this is what we are trying to bring.
That's true parental love
to every Gambian.
All right. Well, listen, good luck with your endeavor. And we hope that the next time we congregate here, we meet here, we will be celebrating a new sport in the Gambia.
Inshallah.
That will be of benefit to Gambians. Inshallah. Thank you very much for coming.
Jar Oil, the company, have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Axel jam si Wave.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do de. Luta mënuloo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello?
Bisul mu fine.
What?
Bisul mu fine.
Oh. Yes!
Wave Axina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave. Bisul mu fine? Wave. Your money is yours.